live the life beyond the boundaries we set on ourselves, to live and to run boundless, to be inspired, to achieve, to overcome the mountaintop in our life. Embrace the journey, become boundless.
Hello, family. Welcome to our 11th episode of Live from Boundless podcast. Today I have on the show is a man who make history or had make history. He had a dream and he returned his dream into a reality. He is an international motivational keynote speaker, served in the Officer Corps of Jamaica Defense Force, retired as a captain in 1992. The founder of Keep On Pushing Foundation in 2006. Most importantly, he married with five kids. But maybe what he's most recognized for is being the original member of the 1988 Jamaican bobsled team and the captain of the 1992 and 1998 team, three-time Olympian, which was his grand dream at the same time. His current dream, to inspire others and to help them achieve their dreams. So family, let's welcome Mr. Devon Harris, raised in Kingston, Jamaica, currently reside in New York. Mr. Harris, welcome to Live Run Boundless family.
Hey, Kenneth, thank you for having me, man.
Yes, so definitely. Glad you could join. I first come across you watching Tom Bayou. I'm saying, I hope I say his last name right, on the Impact Theory. Now, so I was like, oh man, because the Impact Theory is a podcast show I've been watching for like quite a few months now, you know. And now I just you was like a guest on the show. So like, man, I gotta get him on here, you know. And so you was like, hey, yes, you was kind of to like accept my invitation. So definitely much gratitude for me. So Mr. Harris, you are someone who accomplished many things in his life, and you continue to do accomplish many things also. But I guess anybody who have accomplishment probably had to go through some things in their life, some challenges to get to where they at. So tell us, the family, about life growing up in Kingston, Jamaica, and the process of your journey as a kid.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for asking. And thank you again for having me on. And it's great to be able to hang out with the family, man. Greetings, family.
Yes.
So as I said, I grew up in Kingston, a place called Olympic Gardens, believe it or not, Kenneth. And no, that's not the place where we grow all our Olympians. Actually, those of you who have seen those ads on TV, come to Jamaica and feel all right. Yeah, they weren't talking about my neighborhood at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you don't feel all right in my neighborhood at all. Olympic Gardens are one of the toughest ghettos in the world as well.
Wow.
Really impoverished, violent. And so that's kind of how I grew up, in a rather tough inner city environment. The thing that kind of kept me sane, kept me on the straight and narrow, as it were, was, I loved school.
Yes.
And I loved learning, but there was also the competitive nature of doing well in class and scoring high on tests and so on. And then I loved sports. I love to play, actually. I love to play, man.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
And and so I discovered sports, especially soccer. Yes. And that became my first love in sports.
Okay.
And I just kind of did that, played all the time, and then ended up going to high school and started running track.
Nice.
The thing about growing up in Olympic Gardens, or Waterhouse as we call it, is school became my haven.
Okay.
In high school, from the time I was in 9th grade until the 13th grade, we have a slightly different system in Jamaica compared to here. So most kids will finish school at the 11th grade at 17. You spend 2 extra years doing kind of pre-university stuff, it's called advanced levels. So I spent those 2 extra years as well.
Okay.
And so
Yes.
from ninth grade to 13th grade, I was in school pretty much 6 days a week. Every Saturday I was in school doing something, whether it's track or I was on the school quiz team, which is kind of like Jeopardy, but for high school. Like, did French festivals, and there's always something to do, and it kept me focused, kept me away from the influences of the whole neighborhood, and kept me focused on the dreams.
Okay, that's awesome. So school kept you out of trouble, it kept you safe,
Yeah, man. That just kept me in an environment where, I wasn't exposed to. I was exposed less, I would say, to the negative things that was happening in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood.
Yes. So I guess your family, your parents, or whoever, they kind of make you, stay in school. They kind of like what's like a major influence in your life, to help you keep on that straight and narrow.
My parents were obviously, played an important role in my life. My dad wasn't a fan of hanging out.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
And I'm putting that very mildly, and anybody who knows Jamaican West Indian parents will know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But to be honest, the school piece was all on me, man. That's just
but that's something you enjoy.
Okay. My father influenced the fact that I didn't want to hang out, but to be honest, I wasn't interested in hanging out with the kind of people I saw hanging out as well. So it worked both ways.
Okay, that's awesome. Now I hear that you do a little bit of track also. So you like a track star, also.
I could move a little bit. Yeah, I ran. But well, here's my problem, man. I grew up in Jamaica, where everybody's a sprinter.
Yes.
Or where everybody sprints fast, I should say, except me.
Hey, at least you give it a try,
I'm like, what do I have to do to win a race? When I was in the 8th grade, I discovered, and it wasn't the first 800-meter race I ever ran.
Yeah.
But I ran an 800-meter race in elementary school, and dude, I just I huffed and puffed like the big bad wolf man. The third,
Yeah.
In 8th grade, I ran and I won. I'm like, all right, cool. So in 9th grade, I turned up for the track team, and the coach says, what's your event? And I said 800. And he goes, okay, fine, you do the 1500 as well. Yes. Never heard of it before, but the coach said do 1500, so I ran 800 and 1500. Yeah. And well, it was a lot of hard work, man. I often say that I am under no illusion that I was the most talented track athlete at my school. Yeah. But dude, nobody worked as hard as I did. Nobody. Okay. So I won everything, and I totally expected to win everything because I worked.
Yeah. So your work ethic probably is the key to help you to where you're at right now. Is the work ethic,
like I say to and every young athlete I meet, and I talk to my kids about that too. Like that summer between 9th and 10th grade.
Yes.
I think that summer and the work that I put in kind of formed the basis from which I could catapult to even get to the Olympic Games.
Okay.
Because when I think of the distances, and you run distances, don't you?
I still run some distance, yes.
Yeah.
I had a late start though. I started like when my early 30s when I started really running.
I've been listening to you, man. I know you run some distances. But dude, the distance, I look back now, I'm like, I was Forrest Gump before there was Forrest Gump, man. The kind of distances I was running that summer was crazy.
Yeah. So that's great. So to lead to my next question, which y'all already mentioned already, how do you overcome the struggles of growing up in Kingston, Jamaica? Could you make it like being in school and just being an athlete, and doing like sports, and that kind of what kept you out of trouble?
Yeah, what? I didn't like getting in trouble, man. I hated, I had a father who didn't play. Let's start there. But
okay.
There were just other things that I enjoyed more. I really loved sports, and so especially when I started running track for I started training that when I was 15.
Yes.
And then, I think young people in general get in trouble when they have no goals to pursue.
Yes.
What I mean? When you're just kind of left to the whims and the winds of life.
Yes.
You find yourself being drawn and pulled and blown into all kinds of direction, and guys will be going over there, and it's really not a great place to be, but hey, you have nothing better to do, so you go. But I had I wanted to really do well as a high school boy in track, and I was hoping to represent Jamaica at it's called the Carifta Games. It's a track competition amongst all the Caribbean nations. And then I had this crazy dream of competing in the Olympics in 1984 as a high school student. So, if you have those kinds of dreams, you really don't have time to help at all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, never mind that I'd never achieved any of those dreams, but at least.
Well, you had dreams that you want to pursue, and that kept you going, So that's great. As long as you have something that you're aiming for, I know that flame that would keep you on that. I guess that straight and narrow. I might like to say, Yeah, just
one of the things I'm really proud of myself for is the fact that I've always marched to the beat of my own drum.
Yes.
Like I have no problem in hanging out and being social and all that stuff. But hey, when I have something to do, I'm like, oh, you guys are going over there. All right, fine. I'm over here, man. If you want to come hang, that's fine. And it can be a lonely road, but but sometimes that's what's necessary. That's what you need to do. And
yes.
My friends, I was the only one, going for these crazy runs in the summer, and even when I was, after high school, I was in the army. Most of my friends, whether they were kind of hanging out and partying, and I couldn't have. Did I want to go to the clubs? Yeah, but it's kind of difficult to get up at 5 a.m, hungover to go run.
I know. Yeah. Speaking of the army, I want to get to that next. So, what was the process of your journey moving from Jamaica to England? How were you like serving in the military? Doing that.
Yeah. So, first of all, there's a really strong connection. Jamaica, the laws, the educational system, the military discipline and doctrine is all based on the UK. We're part of the Commonwealth, and the US, you guys had a little Boston Tea Party thing, and it didn't work out. But we are part of the Commonwealth, and so the process, to get in the officer corps with the Jamaican Defense Force. First of all, you kind of have to take care of business in high school, the minimum. So I got that done. While I was, being the only kid at my age going to school and getting teased, I was like, okay, one more year, two more years, one more year, I'll be able to join the army, kind of stuff. So I just, sucked some humble salts, as it were, swallowed some humble pills, and and took care of what I needed to take care of in school, and that gave me the basic qualifications to go join the army. So I turn up, I'm like sending hey, and I pass all these subjects, and I want to join, and they go, okay, come on. And then, so I tell you real quickly, when I turned up for what they call the selection board, it's a 3-day process. There were 33 of us. And before you could really even get into the selection process itself, through a series of interviews and whatnot, we were whittled down to 9.
Oh, wow.
We're 9. And then, so only 9 of us really took the meat of the selection. And only 3 of us passed. I was a top pick of 3 that passed.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did my basic training in Jamaica, and then they sent me off to England to do my officer training.
Okay, then.
And that's how that worked.
And how long did you serve in the military?
8 years, man. I 8 years, got to the dizzy rank of captain, and told them thank you very much. I saluted, turned to my right, and marched off in the sunset.
Oh, so yeah, so 8 years was like enough for you. Say no more. You know.
You know what it was though. And so as you mentioned, I'm a speaker, and one of the
Yes.
things that I often tell my audience is, hey, go as far as you can see. For when you get there, you'll see further. And what I mean by that, well, let me illustrate. So when I was growing up in Olympic Gardens,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of dreaming as big as I dared to dream.
Yes.
The furthest I could see was the dizzy heights of being an army officer.
Okay.
That seemed like like two worlds away.
Mm-hmm.
And then, one day I woke up and I was an army officer, and then I'm like, oh, so then, oh yeah, the Olympics. I ended up going to the Olympic Games, my first Olympics, and I started doing these PR tours on behalf of the Jamaica Tourist Board, and I started to see more of the world.
Okay.
Just things that I couldn't even have imagined up when I was, a kid growing up living in the ghettos.
Yes.
We didn't have TV and internet the way we
Yes.
have now to even have an opportunity to see those things. So once I started to see all of that, Kenneth, I'm like, wow. So there's all of this out here too. I want some of that.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, it's not that, I mean, the army, quite frankly, is still in my blood, but
Okay. Yes.
all of a sudden it wasn't as appealing as it was when I was growing up, because I saw that there was so much more.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go test the waters and see.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you can't do both. They can't be serving in the army. In New York, right? So, when my time was up, I told them, "Thank you for the time. Thank you for your time."
Okay.
So I best be moving on.
Yeah. So see, like, the more you see the world, the more you've been wanting, like, hey, I want to try something different, and that what it is.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by go as far as you can see. For when you'll see further. Every one of us, we have kind of a mountain to climb in our life.
Yes.
And when you look up, you can see at the top of that mountain, man. Yeah. But when you climb up to the top, and it's not necessarily an easy climb.
No, it's not.
When you get up there, you go, wow, look at all that other stuff out there. Let me go check it out, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what I did. Not everybody does that, but I wanted to go check out what was out there.
You were different. You're unique. Yeah, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of dreams, and one of your, I guess, one of the major dreams I might like to say was like the dream of being the bobsled team. So how that dream came about,
Well, to be honest, the dream was not to be part of the bobsled team. The dream was to become an Olympic athlete.
Be Olympic, okay.
Yeah, and I had dreams. My dream was that I was going to be running 800, 100 meters at the Olympics, right?
Yes.
I didn't really even. I could not have described a bobsled to you at the time. And then the idea, two Americans who lived in Jamaica came up with the idea to start a bobsled team.
Okay.
I was in the army at the time, and my colonel, suggested that I tried out for the team because I was this fit young officer. Because at the time, I was running 5 miles every morning, thinking maybe I could get fit enough to qualify for the 1988 Olympic Games in Seoul, Korea.
Yes.
Right, and so. I go to the team trials, and if you know anything about bobsledding, it's not about middle distance running. It's more about sprinting, it's speed and explosive.
Okay, yes.
But you know what, man, I was there, and I didn't know how I was going to make the team. I just knew I had to make the team.
Yes.
So again, I tried my darnest, and they selected me. And so the team now became, I have to get to the Olympics as a bobsledder.
Okay, then that's awesome. Now, as you look back on it and reflect on that, being part of, I guess, the first Jamaican bobsled team, what does it mean for you? To be able to be part of something, making history like that.
Yeah, so sometimes I often joke, I should say, about the fact that Jamaica has lots of summer Olympians. And it's so much cooler to be one of the first winter Olympians.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you. So when we were doing this and trying to qualify, we were not thinking of the impact we're going to have,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how many lives we're going to inspire and that kind of stuff. We're
yeah,
just kind of focused on, man, trying to do this thing, trying to
yes,
qualify for the Olympics and
yes,
represent our country. But I've had a chance to look back, and first of all, it's such a proud moment for me, for
yes.
proud achievement, personal achievement.
Mhm.
Um, Not just because I became a bobsledder, but the lesson I take away from that, man, is
Yeah,
you if you really put your mind to something, no matter how difficult and ridiculous it might seem
yes,
to you, perhaps, but certainly to other people as well, definitely, you can accomplish it. So that it meant a lot that way. But then just over the years to see the number of people and meet the number of people
mhm,
personally who tells me that that our story has truly impacted their lives. They have been inspired by
yes.
what we do is really special, um, and then to be able to inspire a whole new generation of some bobsledders and then just other young people who want to go pursue other goals but are inspired by our stories is awesome.
That's great. That was about just live a life to aspire, live life to be impactful. Maybe by the time you don't know how, no, maybe by the time while you're doing it at the moment, you know they impact somebody, but to realize, look back on it and just feel like, man, like wow, you know, I think,
Yeah, and that's why I really encourage people to just go after their dreams, man. Because two things are happening.
yeah,
One, you get into achieve something that you really, really want, and it's not necessarily going to make you wealthier financially, but it's
yeah,
going to make you rich, it's going to add riches to your life.
yes,
Just by virtue of achieving it and the people you impact, because you'd have inspired so many other people. I mean, just think about the times you've seen somebody accomplish something and you go, wow, and if they
yeah,
can do it, I can do it.
yeah. Yeah. So definitely, totally agree. Totally agree. Uh, so moving to kind of like the fun part of it. So the movie Cool Running. So I already know nothing about the movie to a good friend of mine. She tell you that we're going to interview you. So she look up the movie Cool Running. It's like, oh, okay. So, so do you have any input on how the movie was going to be put out? You know?
Did I have any input? So, we spent a lot of time, the team,
Yeah,
meeting
yeah,
with the writers and telling our stories. And I remember them, taking copious notes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I imagine that when we left the room, they looked at what they wrote and go, what a load of crap. Hey, hand me a notepad so I can write something interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so the movie, yeah, when the credits are rolled, it says based on the true story of the Jamaica
Yeah,
bobsled
yeah,
team.
yeah. Okay.
Well, what they should have said is very loosely based on this true story,
Okay.
because it's loosely based,
Yeah.
right? But having said that, I love the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I thought they had some really valuable life lessons there for all of us.
Okay.
And they did a good job in depicting the spirit of the team as well as
Okay.
underdogs fighting to overcome. And
Okay.
as I reflect on what we have done,
Yeah.
to be honest, man, Kenneth, if there are some stories, and I'll tell you one of them, that if they had put it in a movie,
Yes.
although it was true,
Yes.
people would not believe it. People know,
Okay.
come on, that's ridiculous.
Oh wow.
So for example, the movie suggests that we have been training as a four-man bobsled team
Yeah.
ever since the team got selected.
Mm.
That's not true. We were actually kind of two-man teams,
Okay.
and we actually lost one of our drivers. He never made it to the Olympic Games, so we're down to
Oh,
one two-man team.
oh wow.
And then while we're at the Olympic Games, the driver, Dudley Stokes, his brother, came to the Olympics to watch him race.
Mhm.
And it was the second week of the Olympics. And we decided, hey, let's enter the four-man so we can all win a medal.
Yes.
And so that week we decided to enter the four-man race. We recruited Chris Stokes, his name is. We recruited Chris that week.
Okay.
That was the first time he a bobsled.
Oh, wow.
And in 3 days, we taught him everything we knew about pushing a sled.
Oh, wow.
And at the end of the week, we're in the race and pushing the seventh fastest start time. What I'm saying is the Olympic Games was the first time we were racing a 4-man sled.
Oh, wow.
And one of the guys, that was his first week in the sport of bobsledding, period. And we pushed the seventh fastest start time.
Wow.
Now, if you saw that in a movie, you go, come on, that's just corny. But that's what happened.
Okay. Oh, man. So, yeah, of course, you got to make the movie. I got to add some stuff to it to make it, but yeah, but that's incredible. It's just like somebody just being new to the sports and just coming on and just really, I got to just come out of nowhere, I guess, Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So what has inspired you to start the foundation, Keep On Pushing, in 2006?
Yeah, so I went back to the old neighborhood, as I mentioned earlier. It's kind of a rough part of town, and I went to my old elementary school, and I was chatting with the principal, and I asked, so what's the biggest issue you have here? So I was trying to figure out how to help, and he said, oh, a lot of kids are coming to school hungry. Now,
wow,
if you are hungry, you can't learn. If
yes.
you don't learn, you don't get educated, and I promise you, in a place like where I grew up, if you don't get educated, if you miss the bus, you've missed the bus.
Yes.
And so that inspired me to start the foundation, and we've been supporting a breakfast program, a school supplies program. We're just right now finishing up building what we call a sick bay. It's kind of like a nurse's station at the school.
Yes.
And wanting to do some other things, set up a computer lab and all that good stuff. Because in the end, I see myself in those kids. I mean, I used to be in those very classrooms and run around that same class schoolyard.
Yes.
And so, if any one of those kids have even a tinge of the drive and determination and dream as much as I did when I was their age, I want to do what I can to fuel and support that dream.
So it's in the community where you grew up at Jamaica, or you go to like different places that do you help with work with kids?
Yes. So the work of the foundation is focused for the moment on my elementary school, but we have given school supplies to other schools in the old neighborhood.
Okay then.
But our goal is to grow our efforts across the island of Jamaica, across the entire Caribbean, and into South and Central America as well. So we do have big plans.
Okay then. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. That's great. Just continue to work, and continue to spread the work, so that's good.
Yep.
And so, and then you talk about, kids know how to, and challenge their face. So, in your life so far, what have been your biggest obstacle hill they had to climb or get over during your life so far?
Oh, it's a really good question. It's probably, Kenneth, it's probably feeling like I belong. And I'll tell you. So, for example, when I just became an army officer, so here it is. I'm really just, I'm kind of out of the ghettos like a year, man. And, as I mentioned earlier, something I was dreaming about.
Yeah.
And now here was that I was hanging out with all the other officers.
Yes.
But didn't really feel like I fit in because of my background.
Yes.
And so, I had to do I call it a real job on my mind, really. I'm like, hey, I earned this just like everybody else who was sitting at this table. Nobody gave me anything. I did the same thing that they did. In fact, I know I performed better than some of them.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So it took a really long time to kind of get over this idea that I'm just a kid from the ghetto and that I was somebody who, I had ambitions, but I had ability.
Yes.
And what I had accomplished I had accomplished on my own merit, and hence I was deserving of a seat at the table as well. So that I would say was probably the biggest hurdle to cross, and just feeling like I belong and deserve
Feel
to
like you
be
belong.
there.
Okay. Then. So you feel like you belong. So to get over that, you had like to prove that you're able to do your job, do your work, or whatever. To
Yeah, well, obviously I was doing the work, but so the bigger issue was more internal.
or internal.
It was more,
Okay.
convincing me that, yeah, obviously, I did what, as I mentioned, 33 of us turned up, whittled down to 9. I'm the top pick. I go to Sandhurst, I graduate, I come back, I'm working. But sometimes, we our biggest obstacle.
Yes.
We ourselves is not what's happening around us, but how we are thinking about and how we are seeing ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing for me to actually feel,
Yeah.
begin to see myself as not just a kid from the ghetto, but hey, I'm actually an army officer. That's, I'm from the ghetto, but that's only a part of my life. This is who I am now, kind of thing.
Yeah, I got to realize that you are good enough, that you are good enough, that you are capable enough, so I kind of, right, really believe I got it. That's cool, So I guess everyone's realize that we are good enough, and embracing who we are as an individual, and just know that where we're from, not actually the person that who we are, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's key. I mean, even it doesn't matter. Is it important to have other people believe in you? Yeah.
Yes.
But it's way more important for you to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And,
definitely.
And even beyond that, because I obviously believed in myself enough to accomplish the things that I accomplished earlier on. Mm-hmm. But then when you believe in yourself that much and you kind of push yourself out of your immediate surroundings and you're kind of moving up the ladder, you have to believe that you belong.
Yes.
On the new rung of the ladder, right? Like nobody invited you up, nobody gave you a handout, nobody opened a back door for you. You earned it. You got there. And that's the thing. I think one of the challenges that so many of us have, where we go, we did the work, we got there, and yet we sabotage ourselves because we don't fit in. Figure out what to fit in, and excel.
Yeah, definitely. I can understand that. Putting time like don't really belong here, stuff like that. But yeah, you got myself there. I mean, it would help, but I really work at it, to get to where I'm at, and just we be around other people like, so man, don't feel like belong with the people who there also. Just like I don't feel like I'm part of the crowd or wherever, And so, but yeah, it's just that mind, that mind, just powerful. It just
it is, man. But you have to get control of it, otherwise it will control you.
Yes. And the opposite side, what have brought you the greatest joy so far in your life?
You mentioned that I have 5 kids. That's it's my kids. That I joke all the time. I'm like, I've been called many things throughout my life. Some of them are really laudatory and flattering, and some won't repeat on the show here because it's a family show. But the thing I love being called the most is daddy, man.
Okay.
I love daddy.
That's good.
Yeah. And then that's the thing that gives me the greatest joy.
Yeah, that's awesome. There you go, and that's good enough. Yes. So just to have your kids, and just really, despite everything, you could have got to come back to the family.
Yeah, sometimes they're annoying and you don't want them to call you, but go talk to your mother. But no, man, no. That's I absolutely love being a dad.
That's cool. So everybody got a why factor. Will keep them going. But I believe our why factor change over time. So what's your why factor that keep you going in life? You know, from the past or right now? What's your why? You know?
I'm not done yet.
Oh, get there. You're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost there.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the interview, dude. I'm talking about my journey, man. There's just, there's just so much to do. I'm just not done. I'm just not done. I've more to accomplish professionally and personal, as in terms of personal growth and the work I'm doing now with my foundation. I don't even feel like I've done anything yet.
Okay.
You know, so that keeps me going, man. Because I don't feel like I've made a dent yet, man. I want to make an impact, you know. And so there's work to do.
Work to do. All right, there's work to do. That's your why. You know, you do got work to do, even though.
I mean, you know, seriously, I'm really trying to just be the absolute best I can.
Okay.
So
yeah.
That's right. That's why, you know, I keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing. That's why I like that. Thank you for that. And you all come to the end. So since this is Live Run Boundless, and the keyword is boundless, what is your boundless thought or motivation?
Yeah. And so when you say boundless, I'm interpreting that, defining that boundless as limitless. Like
yes.
And so it would be the words you see on my shirt. You know, keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing, yeah.
Because it's speaking to this, well, the obvious idea of like pushing past the obstacles that inevitably are going to be in your way. They're always going to be, no matter what the goal you have. Yeah. There's going to be a learning curve, and there are going to be some obstacles, some difficulties, some frustration, some disappointment, some failures. And you have to be able to pick yourself up from all of those. Some naysayers, and you're going to have to figure out to block them out and just keep going, keep pushing. But then there's the other side to it is this idea of growth, that, you know, the knowledge and the skill set that you have, and even the experience that you have, will only take you right here where you are right now.
Okay.
In order to go to the next level, you have to learn some new skills. You have to learn some new stuff. You have to develop some new skills.
Okay.
So you have to figure a way to keep growing, to keep learning, so that you can get to the next level.
Okay.
And obviously, unfortunately, I guess, deal with some more obstacles so you can get to the next level. So yeah, that's my thing, man. You have to keep on pushing.
Keep on pushing. Okay, then. I like that. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Harris, for taking the time out of your day to hang out with the family and Live Run Boundless. But before you leave, are there any last words that you want to leave with us?
Famous last words.
Any last words?
Yeah, it's what I think it's just what I just explained. You have to keep on pushing. So you start. There's so many of us, I think, that. So let me back up. When I was younger, when I was growing up, and then I used to go to Sunday school, and there's this Bible verse I used to hear. Many are called, few are chosen. And the way I hear it being explained, the way I understood it was like only a few people are going to be called to go to heaven. And I was always worried that if I'm going to be among those chosen few. But what I have come to realize as I'm older now is that, you know what, every single one of us have that calling, man, that little small voice in our heads, in our hearts, that is calling us to be more than we are now.
Okay.
Calling us to be everything that we can possibly be.
Yes.
The challenge is that most of us aren't listening to it. Only a few of us are listening to that little voice. Yes. Perhaps because it's so uncomfortable to step out of what we know.
Yes.
The world we know, right? They call it our comfort zone. It's like, you know, you want to stay here with your boys, you want to hang out with your sister girls. Hey, you're robbing yourself and you're robbing the world of the greatness that's in you. So answer the call and, you know, and keep on pushing.
Keep pushing. Okay, I like that. Thank you for that. Thank you, family, once again for joining me on another episode of Live from Boundless. Live a life beyond the boundary that you set on yourself. Until next time. And we are.
Well, Kenneth, if I could just jump into this, you know, thank you for having me on, and thank you for the work that you're doing, putting out this amazing content to the world. Family, you know, make sure you support this man. He's doing awesome work. Right? So congratulations on that. And hey, I'm at Keep On Pushing 88.
Yes.
For those of you who want to connect with me on Instagram or Twitter or wherever.
Oh yeah, Keep On Pushing 88. Yes. Thank you once again, Mr. Harris. Thank you for the time and just for just allowing for making this happen. You know, and just let's stay connected.
Anytime, man. Thank you.